the expectation of, oh, you have wrestling in your name, you should only play wrestling games. I don't like that. I don't agree with it. I would do anything to get away from that and do everything opposite that I could. And, the fact of the matter is, if I can, go a different route and not and shy away from it, that's why there's been hesitation to even try and capitalize on any sort of wrestling. Is because I don't want to be thought of as you're the wrestling channel. You know, because the answer to the question should be no. I'm not. I'm a channel on a platform with wrestling in my name. That's all it is. And that's where it should end. You know what I mean? That's all it is and where it should end. Joey is out of action for who will challenge Aries Titans instead. So basically, this is the default database or a variation of the Cornellverse, and none of these people are real. Everybody has had invented stories and invented backgrounds and are invented of someone's imagination. It does so happen that the someone that invented them are a variation between someone I don't know and somebody I do know. Um, I I really fell on hard times with this game after a while because I started having, I would start a season, I would start off a database and lose interest after a couple weeks. And I don't mean a couple of real life weeks, I mean a couple of in-game weeks. And then after a couple of days would go by, I would not play it anymore. And then a couple months would go by and I wasn't playing it anymore. And the reality of the situation is, this game, this database, is what brought me back to the game. You know, and the fact of the matter is, this database is what brought me back to the game, and the reason why I was hesitant to include it in a stream is because I like playing it for half hour, 40 minutes, an hour, maybe, tops, and pacing myself, where it's not just booking a show, it's, okay, what happens next? Okay, where am I going to go here? Where am I going to go there? What am I going to do here? Piecing it together row by row and step by step as opposed to just winging it like I used to. And, the main reason is because there's more to it than just go, 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 go. There should be more to it than just go, 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 go. And for the most part, that's not how I operated with it. That's not how I operated with it. It wasn't just it wasn't ever take my time and see what happens. It was always go, 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 go. I mean, I will say there's been a plethora of times where I realized that maybe playing this game would benefit me because I could tell stories and share knowledge and do certain things that I may not be able to do with other games because of my knowledge base of professional wrestling. But the fact of the matter is, again, the limitation was I didn't want to be looked at as, or I didn't want it to be looked at as, oh, you have wrestling in your name, so you should be streaming wrestling. It's like, no, that's not. I shouldn't have to limit myself just because of my wrestling, or just because of wrestling in my name. But what I will say is, next week's schedule is officially up and ready to go. There are some holes, there are some questions, but that is just because if Origin doesn't want to work, then I may not be able to do two streams, or I may, because I would prefer keeping away from GTA 4 next week, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I was also contemplating the idea of there are, or there is a box of toy trains at my grandma's house, and we are going to pull them down and I'm going to go through them. But I was contemplating the idea of doing it on stream because I would be able to then share how much some of the trains are worth, if the train is, if it's worth it, if it's not, yada, 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 yada. Like share knowledge that I've learned about toy trains because I've learned a lot of knowledge about toy trains from Chase After the Right Price on YouTube, as he shares the knowledge that he learns from Ron. So it's like a never-ending story of, it's like a never-ending story of he shares his, he learns from someone, he shares it from someone else, I share it to somebody else. It's like a never-ending story. And the main reason why I was thinking about doing it on stream is because it would be something different for me to do on stream. So I don't know when it'll happen that we'll have the opportunity to do that, but we'll see what happens. Wait, let's go like this. My only hope is that if my sons compete against one another, they settle their issues. So we can move on. See, let's pull it up for context. Oh, there it is. The old storylines. Dusty takes the gamble. From the fall of last year, which is 1977, till the spring of 1978, Dusty Streets fought Deadly Gamble for the United States Championship, specifically Ace McQueen, and it got to the point where Dusty kept getting screwed, Dusty kept getting screwed, so desperation reigned supreme, and Dusty chose to take one more opportunity to become United States Champion by putting at stake his ability to team with his brother. The Streets of Rage, Sid and Dusty specifically are multi-time tag team champions. It did benefit Dusty in a way that his brother Sid was tag team champions with that his brother Sid was tag team champions with his father because Rocky is still here, but both Rocky and Sid took exception to the fact that Dusty put his ability to team with his family on the line in favor of getting another singles title. And that even though he won and didn't lose his ability to team with his family, he still lost his ability to team with his family because his brother refuses to team with him now. And in effect, and for lack of a better word, his brother is now refusing to team with, not just refusing to team with him, but refusing to be in the same even in the same ring as him. And it is, I just noticed his gimmick. It is a fitting gimmick for Sid Streets because he's a rebel, and now he's going against his family. In effect, going against his family. But yes, I am again trying to figure out other streams to do. Um, in effect, I'm trying to figure out other streams to do, and figure out different variations, and that's why I'm doing this. But I'm also trying to remember, or trying to guess, if I want to do that tonight or not. Dusty versus Sid. The ball should be in my court when I and I alone want to step in the ring against Kingman. He has no say. So, prior to Alex Pierce and Ray Kingman stepping to each other, Ray Kingman sat down with Bob Johnson, our lead announcer, and basically spoke about his career and how he got himself to this point, his past in professional wrestling, what got him here, what, his ideals, etc. But Alex Pierce took exception to it and took exception to the fact that reality is who cares and why is Ray Kingman special that he's the only one that gets to tell his story and what brought him to the dance. And now Alex is trying to show that he is not jealous of Ray Kingman. That he is not jealous of Ray Kingman. Here it is. Sits down with Bob Johnson, start of his career and his roots in professional wrestling. Going over his career and brought him to Supreme. And this was focused on Aries Titans. And then at the end of the month, we started the feud between Alex and Ray Kingman. Because it took me a second to realize, basically, that I could start something with what I was putting together with Ray and Alex. See, this is what I mean also. In the past, and I mean this without fail, that in the past, what I would do is I would just say, okay, these two are fighting. Why? No reason. But now I'm trying to, think about it in a way that it makes sense and put it together in a way that makes sense to help me in the long run as opposed to just doing it for the sake of doing it, if that makes sense. I would like to do this because I may let the All Star team become champions again, but at the same time, I don't know. And I also like Richie and Marcus McKing, so even if I put them in the tag team division for a little bit, it would not be the worst idea because it would actually be good. You know, it would not be the worst idea, and it would actually be good because I like them because they have talent. Well, now is when I make the decision. Now is when I make the decision because I know what's headlining. But now is when I make the decision, do I want to have Dusty and Sid fight tonight? I'm going to say the answer to the question is no. I don't. Um, that's what we do. Sheik Shane and Ali. It must really be nice to be able to jump the line of contenders by playing the family card again instead of earning the opportunity. My daughter is gone for now. And soon enough, Nikki Starr will join her. And Team Supreme will join her away from wrestling. So, to give context, again, Aries' daughter Athena debuted late last year while Aries was gone, serving the result of his loss to Mickey Starr, where he basically said if he does not beat Mickey Starr, then he will leave professional wrestling for 30 days or 60 days, I believe it was. It was either 60 days or 90 days, I forget. But Athena debuted and has been a thorn in the side of Hagar Erickson ever since, which is Aries' second in command. And then after a recent rivalry between Aries and the Streets, where it was revealed that Aries' daughter Athena has a relationship with Sid Streets, which, again, may have played a part in the tension between Dusty and Sid. But Athena now disappeared following the end of the rivalry between the Streets and Aries Titans. And now Aries Aries is looking for a new competitor or a new challenger. Ow. How do I want to do this? How do I want to do this? Um I think the best way to do this is we go tag team titles tonight, singles title at the pay-per-view, and then play the cards from there. Again, context. Basically, basically, Aries and Mighty Thor have been going back and forth with the world tag team titles for most of the year with Streets of Rage. They just defeated Streets of Rage to retain the tag team to regain the tag team titles, and actually held the titles for a month without defending them. Go figure. It was their second reign. Sid and Rocky got the belts in late. Well, actually, ironically enough, just as Dusty's feud with the Deadly Gamble, and it's fitting that he took, Dusty Takes the Gamble was the name of the feud, and though it seemed like Dusty's gamble paid off, the reality is it didn't, because though he gained the United States title, he lost his brother. And just as the feud with Dusty and the Deadly Gamble took hold, Rocky and Sid won the tag team titles from Kronos and Mighty Thor. So basically, since the fall of 1977, Aries Titans has had a titan of a grip on the World Tag Team titles, and it's been since July of 77. It's been for almost a year. It's been the Streets of Rage and Aries Titans trading the tag team titles back and forth. And now Mickey Starr, who has been the World Heavyweight Champion for the last 5 years, since 1972, is testing the waters of dipping his toe in the tag team division. And this could be what causes Mickey to lose it all. Because stretching himself too thin is always a possibility. And could this be what happens when Mickey Starr and Rick Rumble branch themselves into the tag team division? Will they branch themselves too thin? That's the main question. But there's a bigger picture here with Aries Titans that we're going to tell. in the not too distant future. But we're going to break it down in a minute. Let's get to the um before we get to the show, I may want to scout somebody. Let's look around. Cuz a lot of these guys are guys from the company that just went out of business, AAWF or whatever it is. Yeah, APWF. So we'll sign Douglas Dean, and maybe we'll go for the Rainbow Warrior. I mean, the Brooklyn Punk. Maybe we'll go for the Brooklyn Punk too. Because the Brooklyn Punk and Marcus McKing are top guy, or have a history, I guess is the best way to put it. And Douglas Dean. It would also give me the opportunity to scout him to see if they're worth maybe taking a closer look at. Douglas Dean actually did really well. For somebody that's not really that popular, he did actually pretty well. Itch, 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 itch. 53 in ring performance is actually pretty well. And I believe that also marks another sold out crowd, which this is only our. I mean, we've only done one show this year in front of a not sold out crowd. And the Brooklyn Punk beat Chase. The Brooklyn Punk did better. Chase is getting let go anyway, so there's that. But Ripcord again continues to raise his stock. Lou Hano Ada. He might not be the best in the ring, but on the mic, almost untouchable. Almost untouchable. And James Silverman delivers with Wildman Sullivan as Wildman continues to try and get over with Chaim. We also have a new Hollywood heavyweight champion as Lou Hanato, who started on the West Coast. Technically, I think he started in Hawaii, but he might have started in California. But either way, Lou Hanato is the Hollywood heavyweight champion, defeating Hollywood Mike Kinsey with a botched interference from Hollywood's friend and tag team partner in God Hollywood. That is Brick Fantana. Brick Fantana has been showing jealousy, so it is a question of. There is a question of did Brick do it on purpose, or was it actually an accident? That's opening the door for something we can talk about on the show. Officially announcing that Joey Flame has been injured. I believe it was a broken rib. I believe it was broken ribs. I could be wrong. But Wildman Sullivan again, as his undefeated streak continues, as he continues to steamroll through people on the roster. Rocky Streets talks about his sons, Alex and Bob Johnson. Alex Pierce and Marcus McKing actually look close. But solid tag team match for Pangrazio and Marcus McKing, I will say. They make a solid tag team. Not the best segment, but not a bad segment. It almost, how do I say it? It almost provides a distraction, and it gives me an out as far as why did Dusty and Sid not fight each other? Well, Sheik Shane and Ali Al Kwai interrupted, causing the match to go into, causing Sid to have to fight him as opposed to fighting his brother. So it allows us to put a pin in that and revisit it a little further back and maybe add a little nugget of jubilation in between with question marks. But Aries Titans comes up and we get the question mark of what happens next with Aries Titans and the tag team titles because the Flames are gone. And that answer is that Mickey Starr and Rick Rumble, Team Supreme, become the new SWF World Tag Team Champions, which means that their reigning world champion, the guy who's held the title for 6 years at this point, almost. Mickey Starr is bordering on 6 years as SWF World Heavyweight Champion. That now Mickey Starr is also World Tag Team Champion, and also for the first time in 3 years, Rick Rumble has Championship Gold in SWF. But this is how the show ends, with Team Supreme getting one over on Aries Titans. And we have new World Tag Team Champions, and also a new Hollywood Heavyweight Champion in Lou Hanoato. The amount of times I say somebody's name one way in this specifically, and then realize I'm saying it wrong and have to say it a different way, I've lost track. But yes, I do believe the live tour was a sellout, and now the Team Supreme, Mickey Star tag team title reign, that has been something that I've been thinking about since late last year in 1977, because the one thing that I would say is, and I know, like, um, it's like, it's not how do we get out from under Mickey Star? Because if I wanted to get out of, if I wanted that badly to get out from under Mickey Star, I'm out from under Mickey Star. It's not that. It's how do I get out from under Mickey Star? We got to come up with a big plan and an overarching story that makes it make sense that Mickey would be out. That Mickey would be done with the World Heavyweight Championship, as opposed to, just the title's gone. And Zach 2021-25, I appreciate the follow. Welcome to the stream. Feel free to say what's up in the chat. But that's the thing. It's like, I will be honest with you. It's not, oh, you're doing the WWE thing. Can they coexist? Hello, motherfucker. Can they coexist or not? No, we're not doing that. It's pre-established that Team Supreme are a successful collaboration of, or a successful group in Supreme Wrestling, and it's not a matter of if they can coexist. That's not the point. The point is Mickey Star taking too much on? That's the point. That's the point. And it isn't, oh, well, 3 weeks later, Mickey Star and, Rick Rumble are going to lose the belts back to Aries Titans. Nope. This is a long term thing. It's a bigger story than being champions. That's what it is. And I just also want to point out there's more developing with Wildman. It's me, Wildman Sullivan doing the jobs, not doing the jobs, having the matches that he's having against the guys that he's wrestling. It's establishing Wildman Sullivan in front of a new audience. It's getting Wildman Sullivan over. It's getting that attention on Wildman to and add him into the bigger picture. Ripcord, I trust him to have a good match, so I put him at the beginning of the show. And the streets, it's what can I do to expand it out? What can I do to add more to the story? Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Zach. Have you played? Have you played? Well, have you played TEW for one? And if you have you done the default database, or do you usually refrain from the default database? Uh, you. I'm actually surprised I signed into an exclusive handshake agreement and not an exclusive agreement in itself. A written one. Oh, that's why it's ongoing. Hmm. I was gonna say that could be a problem, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's my point. It's not, you know, basically, let's see how much of oh, we're in May week 1. Let's try and get to finish a month and do it as quick as possible. It's how do we get from here to the pay per view and have the pay per view matter. Speaking of that, we got to book out the pay per view. Or we got to add, not book out the pay per view, we got to add some matches to the pay per view. And yes, we will get here, and I will explain how we're going to get here with Wildman Sullivan. I'm not sure necessarily if this is what we're going to do, but I'm hoping I can get here with Wildman and Lou Hanato. Hanato, or whatever his name is, however you pronounce it. Hanato. Let's go with Hanato. But I'm hoping we can get here. If we can't, then I will cancel the match. But yeah, that's the next step for Wildman Sullivan. I think that's it. But we're also going to go with Aries and Mickey Star. I mean, sorry, Hagar and Mickey Star. But with Mickey winning the tag team champions. Question of the day. NPC. Hmm. I mean, honestly, I'd probably say either Nico from GTA 4 or CJ from San Andreas because they just seem like people that would go above and beyond to protect those who are those who have done right by them. Whether it's family or friends, like they go above and beyond for those who are close to them. And well, I try and do the same thing to a degree, but I just feel like that's like similar personalities, I guess, and they also aren't afraid to have a little fun. Okay, that makes sense. Hmm. I would also point out that with Mickey Star and Rick Rumble as the tag team champions, that could lead to an interesting thing with the Flames, Teddy and Joey, as it could lead to Team Supreme colliding for the tag team titles, not as a I hate you, you hate me type thing, but a competitive type thing more than anything. Uh, hmm. You know what? I think I'd rather go that way. And maybe. So, at the next pay per view, Mickey Star's defending his world championship against Hagar Erickson to continue the feud with Aries Titans, and also the One Percenters, Mayhem Madan and Knight Rider are going to step up to Rick Rumble and Mickey Star for the tag team titles. But in the month of May, it's not just going to be Mickey Star. I mean, it's not just going to be the One Percenters stepping up. There's a host of tag teams that could step up against Mickey and Rick Rumble for the tag team titles. And we're going to see it play out on Slugfest tonight as the start to build to this begins. But this also means that Mickey Star is going to be competing twice on shows, not just once. You know, but let's get to it. And we got, I believe, David Crane and Flying Ryan O'Brien. Um, we got Crane and Ryan O'Brien that are stepping back. Honestly, I'd rather. Um, what would I rather? I would rather go to an arena where I know I'm going to sell out as to an arena that I might sell out if enough people show up. So I think we're going to go to Camden Sports Arena in Camden, New Jersey. Um, well, Jimmy's going to be back on the show. put Jimmy back on the show, but at the same time, you know what? Angus McLeod. We'll decipher Angus McLeod first. Because Angus has not been seen, and also in the course of not being seen, has also lost a few matches recently. So giving him the opportunity to win and get back on track would be something that would benefit me more than not having, continuing to have him sit on the sidelines. So that's what we're going to do. Again, I would have played. I would have used Origin today, but Origin doesn't want to work again, so we had to refrain from playing, anything on Origin, and this may inhibit a game, a stream later in the week, next week because of Origin not working. But we'll see what happens. So we're gonna jump back to what happened at the pay-per-view, or the live event rather. Sorry, and we're gonna tell the story of what's going on with Gone Hollywood. Perry's Place with Gone Hollywood. And Mike wants Brick to explain himself from last night. With Brick after last night, and Brick contends it was an accident. He didn't mean to cost Mike his title, but it happened. It was an accident, and he asks for forgiveness. So Mickey Star is world champion. And now, alongside Rick Rumble, aka his lackey, aka the man in his shadow, they hold the tag titles. Well, the All-Star team, which is Coach and his cohorts, contend that it's not fair that Mickey Star and Rick Rumble can compete in a tag team match that just so happens to be for the tag team titles and then become tag team champions because they're not an official tag team. That if they want to prove themselves, then put the belts on the line against an actual tag team. And I think this week has to be Chase Allen because Chase's contract's up and he needs to and I want him to put over Wildman Sullivan. Yes, his contract's up and I want him to put over Wildman Sullivan before he's on his way out. I will admit that was a little harder. That was a little bit better. But still not enough to to stop the most dangerous man in wrestling. Heed the warnings. Wildman Sullivan is the most dangerous man in professional wrestling. Mayhem. Flying Ryan O'Brien and the Freedom Warrior. I I don't think I'm going to drop them in the story only because I don't know that I want to. So I think I'm going to keep them out. But yeah, as I mentioned, Lou Hanato. Well, actually, yes, his name is Hanoato. Hano. Hono or Hono Otto. Hono Ada. Well, Lou is the first step to the bigger picture for Wildman Sullivan, as I mentioned, and there's a reason for that. It's because while Lou is both popular and can carry himself in segments, so beneficial to me. But yes, I don't think I'm going to put Mayhem and Knight Rider in the feud because they don't necessarily need to be in the feud to be a part of this little monthly challenge for Mickey Starr and Rick Robo. I never thought we'd agree with Coach or the All-Star team, but we do. Mickey and Rumble as tag champions. Let's change that. Hagar. Was a travesty of justice and everything right with the world. I want Mickey Starr. 1-on-1. Again, this goes to the bigger picture. This will go to the bigger picture. But I will explain that either later when we're going through the show or after the fact. See, Alex, I can be a thorn in your side. Or bitter like you. But I'll just keep waiting. But wise up. Till you wise up and want to step in the ring with me. I mean, honestly, I know I know of someone I could put I know of somebody I could put in the ring with Mickey Star and Rick Rumble tonight to start them off slow as tag team champions. And that person is or that group is Jester and the Grand Duke. But we'll see what happens. I have one request, Sid, that if we do stand across the ring from one another, then we shake hands and agree to put this behind us. Once we're done. I know that, or ideally that, these two could have been the team that I picked to challenge. Ace and Blackjack could have been the team that I picked to challenge Mickey Star and Rick Rumble first. But honestly, I kind of want to settle with Aries Titans before I go the route of doing anything with a viable challenger for Mickey Star and Rick Rumble. Because I view these two as viable challengers, of course, alongside Blazing Flames. In your hour of need, you look to others to solve your problems. Because you are weak. I am the leader because I am strong. I think I've had Angel Riley on contract for at least a month. Yeah, I've had him under contract since April. Yeah, so he and I've held him back since April, and this is this is finally his debut tonight. So, good for him. I mean, it's good that we finally get to see him. Team Supreme celebrate being champions, but Teddy and Mickey tells Teddy, once Joey's good, let's tear the house down. Mickey Star, Rick Rumble, Jester, and the Grand Duke. I mean, also indirectly, after Mickey got injured last year, I was a little skeptical about putting him in the ring ever. I was skeptical about putting him in the ring ever because he wasn't living up to Mickey Star's standards. And that hesitation, caused me to, well, honestly, that hesitation caused me to sign Ray King. You know what I mean? That hesitation caused me to sign Ray King and go in a different direction because Ray King was somebody different. Ray King was somebody different. Ray King was somebody out of the ordinary. And it gave me the opportunity to go in a different direction because I had to. I had to go in a different direction. I had to do something else because I had no choice in the matter. Because Mickey Star wasn't Mickey Star anymore. You know what I mean? Mickey Star was not Mickey Star, so I had to go in a different direction, and the different direction was, sign Ray King, sign Ripcord, sign other people to get more attention and bring stability back to the company. You know what I mean? And that's what we did, I like to think. I've also thought about signing the OG Orlando Gransberry for a while, so this is pretty much a test run like it is for the Brooklyn Punk. Even though Brooklyn Punk was with us, I knew I should have picked a winner. Oh, and they showed excellent chemistry. So maybe I'll sign the Brooklyn Punk and run the match back. Eesh. Yeesh. The difference is there's no popularity changes on the pre-show, so it's not a big deal. But Angus McLeod did well, so that's why I gave him the win and put him back on the show. The Gone Hollywood escapades continue. The All-Star team, Jesus. 84. No wonder why I like the All-Star team so much. Wildman takes down Chase Allen. They applaud Chase Allen's effort, but say that competition is still not at the level of Wildman Sullivan. The One Percenters beat Freedom Warrior and Flying Ryan. And the One Percenters lay down the challenge to Mickey Star and Rick Rumble, and Hagar lays down the challenge to Mickey Star. Mickey Star is about to be a very busy man as Ray Kingman defeats Carl Jackson and moves into, once again, challenging Alex Pierce. and pointing out to Alex Pierce that it's called stepping up and being a man. Dusty and Maxwell. Dusty gets his fifth defense. The only question is, will I let Dusty get as many defenses as he did last time, which I believe he got 7 defenses with the U.S. title before I had him drop it. We'll see what happens. But Dusty and Sid, 100%, Dusty and Sid have stepped up tremendously as far as in-ring performance and ability on the microphone. They have stepped up tremendously, and I applaud them for that. I'm very proud of that. Deadly Gamble show why I like them first, and I still like them the most. Uh, Solid, but not good, I guess is the best way to put it. What you would expect for somebody that doesn't really have a lot of popularity. But there is Team Supreme as we get the word that Mickey Star and Rick Rumble offer to Teddy that once Joey is healthy, Team Supreme will challenge. One side of Team Supreme will challenge the Blazing Flames for the tag team titles, and they will give them their title shot that they wanted against Aries Titans because Teddy and Joey were supposed to get the title shot that Rick Rumble and Mickey Star took. But Joey got injured, which then I guess you would say opens the door for some controversy as far as if Joey didn't get injured, would Mickey and Rick Rumble be the tag team champions? Yes, but it would have happened later. Solid main event, and I think that's probably the best match that the Grand Duke and Jester have had. But first successful title defense for Mickey Star and Rick Rumble as tag team champions. And a solid show. I mean, I know you might get tired of hearing it, but a lot of what I'm doing now is preparing us for the summertime and the fall and the second half of 78 because we're not ready yet for what we want to do in the bigger picture. We're getting there. And honestly, I'm just going to put it out there that it is very likely that um I think I want to keep him for now. It is very likely that Mickey Star will not lose the world championship before the end of 1978. It is possible, but I'm not sure yet. It is possible, but I'm not sure yet. But the Brooklyn Punk is coming into Supreme. And we'll have a little escapade with Team Chaos. But I just wanted to point this out that right now the plan is Wildman Sullivan versus Mickey Star in July at our biggest pay-per-view, which is the Challenge in July, our season finale. The reason for that is I didn't bring in Wildman Sullivan just to push him just because he's good or whatever the case is. I brought in Wildman Sullivan to eventually feud with Mickey Star. But I thought it would be a mistake to have Mickey and the Wildman feud right out of the gate. It is also on me realizing that Wildman Sullivan is actually status as a heel and not a babyface. I mean, status as a babyface and not a heel. That is a big mistake that may come back to bite me in the ass. But we'll see what happens. Either way, that is it for us here in Supreme for now. I mean, the reality of the situation is just think about how much things have changed, how different things were doing this as opposed to what we did last time, where we went through Eastern Championship Wrestling, where we went through WWF, and it didn't work either time. Just look at how different things are when things actually work out. So with that being said, we are actually going to be back tomorrow with another stream.